A millionaire marries a woman for a bet, and you'll be shocked to see who she is. Before we begin, please tell us in the comments where you're watching from. Also, don't forget to rate the story from 1 to 10 at the end. Today, I'm going to share an amazing story with you that takes place in the tech world of Los Angeles. It's about a millionaire named Michael Harrison whose life is turned upside down. What initially appears to be a simple 5-month marriage contract turns out to be part of a game planned over the course of several years, and everything changes when this is revealed. You'll see a powerful woman's masterful revenge plan and a ruthless man's unexpected transformation. Ultimately, you'll see how love changes everything. Your hearts will break, you'll get angry, and you'll cry. But in the end, you'll be filled with hope because this story proves that real change and second chances are possible. If you're ready, let's begin this emotional journey. Michael Harrison never lost. Known in the Los Angeles technology world for his multi-million-dollar fortune, he had absolute control over every area of his life. Everyone knew about his ruthlessness in business, as well as his conquests in his private life. Women fluttered around him like moths, and he accepted this as a natural law of nature. Tonight, he was at the prestigious Technology Summit in Beverly Hills. Silicon Valley's most influential figures had gathered at this major networking event. As the city lights reflected off Michael's premium whiskey glass, his friend Thomas quietly approached him. Thomas had a strange smile on his face, as if he were about to detonate a long-planned bomb. Thomas touched his shoulder and spoke in a low voice. "Michael, I need to talk to you about a very special matter." Michael turned curiously, his usual self-confidence sparkling in his eyes. "Come on, Thomas. What's on your mind?" Thomas carefully looked around, making sure no one was nearby, then continued. "You always say you can charm any woman and that you're the absolute master of every situation. How confident are you really about this?" Michael let out a mocking laugh. "What are you getting at, Thomas?" Thomas moved even closer, his voice now almost a whisper. "I'm offering you the biggest challenge of your life. Can you stay married for exactly 5 months to someone who isn't your type and doesn't fit classic beauty standards? This won't just be a marriage on paper, it'll be a real partnership." Michael's eyes lit up with excitement. Competition was his lifeblood, and he was thrilled by the challenge. "What kind of proposal is this? What's on the table?" Thomas replied with the confidence of a victorious general. $1 million. If you can successfully maintain this marriage for 5 months, you'll receive all the money. But be careful. You'll need to be truly married, not just appear to be. Michael extended his hand without hesitation. "Deal. Who is this mysterious woman?" Thomas answered with the ease of someone who had just drawn an ace in a card game. "Linda Carnell. You haven't met her yet, but you will very soon. I guarantee she's a woman who will surprise you in every way." The next morning, Michael began a comprehensive investigation into Linda. The reports he received from his private detectives made him even more curious. Linda was a woman who worked in technology, lived independently, and had a minimal social media presence. She was completely different from the socialite women Michael was used to. This further ignited his competitive nature. For their first meeting, he chose the elite Chateau Marmont in West Hollywood. As Michael sat at his table in his usual impeccable suit, Linda walked in. What he saw truly surprised him. She was definitely different, but she didn't seem bothered by it. In fact, she walked to the table with confidence and sat down. As soon as she sat down, she began speaking without wasting any time. "You must be that famous Michael Harrison. I've heard a lot about you." Her voice was clear and determined, showing no signs of shyness. Michael tried to hide his surprise and replied politely. "Yes, that's right. You must be Linda Carnell. Nice to meet you." Linda nodded slightly and went straight to the heart of the matter. "I know the details of Thomas's proposal. It's a 5-month marriage contract with predetermined rules, and everyone goes their separate ways when the time is up. I understand you've agreed to these conditions." Michael was amazed. Most women would be embarrassed or caught up in romantic expectations in such a situation. But Linda was approaching the topic with a completely businesslike attitude, as if she were negotiating a corporate agreement. "Yes, I've accepted all the terms," Michael said curiously. "But why did you accept this offer?" Most people would approach such a situation with suspicion. Linda looked directly into his eyes and answered clearly, "I have my reasons, which I'm keeping to myself for now. But I want you to understand this very clearly. During our marriage, I will not behave according to your expectations. I have my own rules and principles, and I expect you to show me absolute respect." Michael hadn't expected such a direct approach. Usually, women were enchanted and impressed by his presence. But Linda remained professional, as if conducting a routine business meeting. "What rules are you talking about exactly?" he asked curiously. She placed her hands on the table and explained in a determined tone, "You won't expect me to change my lifestyle. I won't reshape my friendships, work, or daily routine according to your wishes. This is just a 5-month temporary arrangement, and I will emerge from this period exactly as I am now." Michael smiled inwardly, finding it amusing. Every woman started out this way, acting resistant, but eventually, they all surrendered to the charm of his world. He was confident that Linda would be no different. "Agreed," he said casually. "After 5 months, everyone goes their own way." Linda stood up and spoke one last time. "Then let's finish the marriage paperwork tomorrow. I want a simple wedding, far from any show." Michael nodded in agreement. "Whatever you want." As Linda left, Michael watched her carefully. She was indeed different, but Michael never lost his self-confidence. He thought that, in only 5 months, Linda wouldn't be able to resist him and would eventually give in. The wedding was simple, just as Linda wanted. Only the mandatory signatures were made in front of a notary. No ceremony was held. Michael considered this situation a temporary business agreement. Now, the real game was about to begin, and he was going to win. After the wedding, he took her to his magnificent Malibu coast villa. It was one of the finest examples of contemporary architecture. It had an infinity pool, a breathtaking ocean view, and state-of-the-art smart home systems. Every detail was designed for perfection and was worth millions of dollars. When Linda stepped inside, she surveyed her surroundings, but the admiring looks Michael had expected never came. She surveyed the area objectively, evaluating it. "Really impressive," she said in a calm voice. "But it's quite large. Too spacious for a 5-month temporary stay." Michael was astonished. Usually, when guests saw the villa, they were shocked and couldn't hide their admiration. Linda, however, remained objective, like a professional evaluator conducting hotel reviews. "I had the most beautiful suite specially prepared for you," Michael said politely. Linda turned and clarified, "Separate rooms, right? Remember, this is a business agreement, not a real marriage." "Of course," Michael replied. "Everything will be exactly as you want it." During the first week, Michael tried everything he could to impress Linda. He ordered the world's most expensive jewelry, made special reservations at Michelin-starred restaurants, and hired personal shopping consultants. However, Linda showed no interest in any of it. "I really don't need these kinds of things, Michael," she said each time. "You're wasting your money. It would be more logical to invest it elsewhere." Michael was slowly starting to get annoyed. No woman in his life had ever been this indifferent. Linda continued her simple morning routine, went to work regularly, and spent her evenings reading books at home. She acted as if the millions of dollars worth of luxury around her didn't exist. In the second week, Michael decided to try more aggressive method. He called Linda's technology company and canceled important project meetings. "You don't need to work anymore," he said authoritatively. "As my wife, you should have different priorities and responsibilities." Linda shot him a stern and determined look. "You don't have the authority to interfere with my private life, Michael. There was definitely no such clause in our agreement. I just want you to be more comfortable and at ease, Michael said with false politeness. Does the concept of comfort need to be shaped according to your definition? Linda replied sharply. I'm quite satisfied with my lifestyle, and I'm not thinking of changing it. Michael became even more annoyed when he lost control. For the first time in his life, someone had opposed him so openly and directly. He couldn't accept this situation at all. In the third week, he began targeting Linda's social circle. He reached out to her close friends and made up various excuses to cancel their planned meetings. When Linda noticed the sabotage, she confronted Michael. You systematically sabotaged my relationships with my friends, she said in an angry but controlled voice. Michael tried to look innocent. I don't understand what you mean. I was just. Don't lie to me, Linda sharply interrupted. I know your manipulation games very well. But guess what? I'm definitely not someone who can be played as easily as you think. Michael was furious. Why was this woman being so resistant? Why wouldn't she bow down to him? No other woman had been so stubborn. By the end of the fourth week, his patience was exhausted. It was time to have a serious conversation with Linda. When they were alone in the villa, he confronted her. I really don't understand, Linda, he said in a tired but angry voice. The lifestyle I'm offering you is one that every woman in the world could only dream of. But you keep rejecting it. What do you really want? Linda turned to him. There was a hardness and determination in her eyes that Michael had never seen before. You ask what I want. I want respect, Michael. I don't want you to see me as something you can buy. You're so used to controlling people that it doesn't even cross your mind that someone could stand up to you. Michael moved closer to her. I'm just trying to make you happy and comfortable. Linda gave him a bitter, mocking smile. Make you happy? You're trying to fit me into your mold, transform me into your ideal woman. But don't forget this, Michael. I'm nothing like any of the women you've dated before. When 5 months are up, I'll leave here exactly the same as when I arrived. These words deeply affected Michael. Linda wasn't just resisting his control, she was also making him question who he was and what kind of person he was. No one had ever spoken to him like this before or challenged him like this. You really are very different, Michael said almost in a whisper. Linda stared at him. Yes, I'm different. This deeply disturbs you because you don't know how to deal with or control me. Michael stayed awake until morning that night. Linda's words kept spinning in his mind. This woman was really beginning to change him, and he was frightened by the situation. The next morning, he found her preparing breakfast in the kitchen. She maintained her usual calm and controlled demeanor, as if the tense argument from the night before had never happened. Good morning, Linda said in her usual voice. Good morning, Michael replied. Linda turned to him and made an important statement. Michael, I want to tell you something very important. This marriage will play out completely differently than you initially planned. Guess what? You're not the only one writing the rules of this game, and you won't be able to. Michael's blood ran cold. The mysterious, dangerous glint in Linda's eyes made it seem as if she were hiding a big secret. What exactly do you mean by that? He asked anxiously. Linda gave him a cold but meaningful smile. You'll learn everything when the time comes, Michael. Just be patient. As they entered the second month of marriage, Michael decided to make a bigger move to impress Linda. He would try to enchant her with all the amenities of his modern villa. The villa was the epitome of luxury and technology. The smart home systems worked with voice commands. The infinity pool merged with the ocean view, and the private cinema room was more comfortable than the most luxurious Hollywood cinemas. When Michael woke up early one morning, he found Linda doing yoga on the terrace. Her calm breathing, accompanied by the sound of the sea, showed that she continued her routine even in this luxurious environment. This situation impressed and annoyed Michael. Good morning, he said as he approached. Doing morning yoga? Linda answered without opening her eyes. Yes, I do it every morning. It clears my mind. You can use the villa's private spa, Michael said. There's also a professional yoga studio there. Linda stood up and looked at him. Thank you, but the sea view is more peaceful. Michael realized that even this small rejection bothered him. Linda continued to turn down even his simplest offers. That day, Michael prepared a special plan. He had a custom-designed diamond necklace delivered from the most prestigious jeweler in Los Angeles. He also invited a famous chef to the villa to prepare a special dinner. Every detail was perfect: candlelight, live music, an ocean view. When Linda returned home in the evening, Michael greeted her. I have a special surprise planned for tonight. Linda looked at him suspiciously. What kind of surprise? Just come and see, Michael said proudly. When Linda saw the romantic table set up on the terrace, she stopped in her tracks. Everything looked like it had jumped out of a Hollywood movie. However, the admiring expression she expected wasn't on her face. This is too much, Michael, she said calmly but firmly. Why? I just wanted us to have a nice evening. Linda approached the table but didn't sit down. I thought our agreement didn't include romantic dinners. Michael tried to hide his disappointment. This is just politeness. I thought we could have a good time. Linda shook her head. Politeness, huh? Is that expensive necklace also politeness? Michael realized she had noticed the velvet box in his hand. This is another small gift. Michael, Linda said harshly. I told you very clearly. I don't need these kinds of things. You still don't understand. Trying to control his anger, Michael said. I just want to make you happy, Linda. Make you happy? Linda's voice rose. You're trying to buy me. You think everything can be solved with money. These words wounded Michael deeply. No one had ever spoken to him like this. This is unfair, Linda. You're just what? Linda interrupted. You're just trying to fit me into the mold you want. But here's the problem. I'm not the woman you want, and I won't become her either. That night, Michael tossed and turned in bed, thinking. Linda's resistance was growing stronger with each passing day. Maybe he needed to change his approach. At the beginning of the 6th week, he made her a different offer. Linda, let's start a hobby together. You choose. Whatever you want, we'll do it. Linda looked at him suspiciously. A hobby? Yes, a shared activity. Whatever you want. Linda thought. Gardening. Michael was surprised. Gardening? Yes, I want to make a vegetable garden. This was an answer Michael never expected. But he agreed. Okay, I'll hire a gardener and have everything prepared. No, said Linda. We'll do it ourselves. We'll work with the soil. Michael had never worked with soil before, but he agreed to do so in order to get closer to Linda. They went to the garden center together. Linda was very excited while choosing vegetable seed. Michael enjoyed seeing her so happy. As they worked in the garden, Linda began to relax. As they worked in the soil, they talked. Why do you love gardening? Michael asked. I love connecting with nature. It's satisfying to see something grow. Michael was trying to understand her. You're very different, Linda. You're completely different from other women. Linda answered while touching her hands to the soil. Maybe the problem isn't with them, but with you. This made Michael think. What do you mean? He asked. You see everyone as the same. But people are different. Not everyone wants money and luxury. So, what do you want? Linda stopped and looked at him. I want reality, Michael. I want things that aren't fake. Michael was confused by this answer. What did she mean by things that aren't fake? That evening, while Linda was cooking in the kitchen, Michael tried to help her. I don't know how to do it, he said clumsily. You'll learn, Linda replied patiently. Everyone can learn. While Michael was chopping vegetables, he cut his finger. Ah, it's bleeding. Linda immediately administered first aid. It's nothing serious. Be more careful. This small act of kindness affected Michael. She had shown him compassion for the first time. In the 7th week, he began to notice strange changes in her behavior. Sometimes she would make phone calls, but when he approached, she would fall silent. When she was working on her laptop, she would immediately close the screen. One day, while Linda was out, Michael entered her room. The room was very organized and minimalist. However, there were some files on the desk. He tried to look at them, but Linda suddenly arrived. "What are you doing here?" Michael was surprised. "I was just..." "This is my private space, Michael. You can't enter without permission." "I'm sorry. I was just curious." Linda gathered the files. "Don't be curious. They don't concern you." After this incident, Linda began acting more secretively. She made phone calls in the garden and never left her laptop open. Michael's curiosity reached its peak. What was she hiding? Why was she being so secretive? By the 8th week, Linda's behavior had become even stranger. Sometimes she would smile as if she knew a secret. When Michael asked her, "Is something wrong, Linda? You look different." "No, everything's normal." But it wasn't normal. Linda was acting as if she were waiting for something. One evening, Michael joined her on the balcony. "Linda, I need to talk to you." "I'm listening." "You're hiding something." "I can tell." Linda smiled. "Everyone has secrets, Michael. But our agreement should be transparent." Linda turned to him. "Transparent? Have you ever been transparent with me? Did you ever tell me your real intentions?" Michael was surprised. "What do you mean?" "You know it too, Michael. This marriage is just a bet. You're trying to win me over." Michael couldn't deny it. The mysterious sparkle in Linda's eyes deepened. "But guess what, Michael? You're not the only one playing this game." "What do you mean?" Linda stood up. "You'll understand when the time comes. But know this, the end of this story might not be what you expect." When Linda went inside, Michael was confused. What had she meant? What game was she talking about? Michael couldn't sleep at all that night. Linda's words kept spinning in his head. She was truly a mysterious and dangerous woman. The next morning, Linda appeared as calm as always. It was as if the previous night's conversation had never happened. "Good morning, Michael," she said naturally. "Good morning, Linda." Michael looked at her and asked, "What you said last night?" Linda interrupted. "Last night? What did I say?" It was as if she didn't remember at all. This situation worried Michael even more. As she took her coffee and left, Linda added one last word. "By the way, Michael, there might be some interesting developments soon. Be prepared." She left the room laughing. Michael thought about Linda's words as he looked at his remaining coffee. Interesting developments? What did that mean? By the 9th week, Michael's patience was completely exhausted. Linda's mysterious behavior, the phone conversations he couldn't understand, and the files she constantly hid were driving him crazy. Each day, he became more nervous and anxious. She was playing a game, but he couldn't figure out what it was. On Monday morning, he found Linda in the kitchen preparing breakfast. She was calm and collected, as if unaware of the inner turmoil he was experiencing. "Linda," Michael said in a determined voice, "you need to stop these mysterious behaviors now. What are you hiding? These secret phone conversations, the files you close and hide. There must be an explanation for all of this." Linda looked at him while sipping her coffee. "You're being impatient, Michael. Everything has its time." "Time? What time? You're always speaking cryptically." Linda put her cup on the table. "If you really want to know, you can learn everything tonight." Michael's heart raced. "What do you mean?" "Meet me on the balcony at 8 o'clock. We'll talk there." Michael couldn't concentrate on his work that day. During meetings at his tech company, he couldn't stop thinking about Linda. 8 o'clock seemed like it would never come. Finally, his wait would end and he would see Linda's true face. He returned to the villa at 7. Linda wasn't on the balcony yet. Michael looked at his watch. There were 6 more minutes. He had never felt so excited and anxious at the same time. His instincts told him that what Linda was going to say would be far from innocent. At 8 o'clock sharp, Linda appeared on the balcony. She held a file and wore an expression he had never seen before. The calm, mysterious woman was gone. In her place was a determined, fierce warrior, ready for battle. "You came," Linda said in a cold voice. "Yes, I came. It's time to learn everything now." Linda put the file on the table. "You're right, Michael. It's time to learn the truth. But first, I have a question for you." Michael waited, curious. "Ask." "Do you remember Andrew Carnell?" Michael frowned. The name sounded familiar, but he couldn't quite remember. "Andrew Carnell? I don't really remember. Why are you asking?" Linda's eyes became ice cold. "Of course you don't remember. You've ruined so many people's lives that it's impossible to remember them all." Michael became uncomfortable. "What do you mean, Linda?" Linda stood up. "Andrew Carnell was my father, Michael. You deceived him and stole his company." These words exploded like a bomb in Michael's brain. His eyes widened and his mouth fell open. He felt as if the world had stopped spinning. What are you saying?" Linda opened the file. "I'm Linda Carnell. Yes, I'm the daughter of Andrew Carnell. I'm the daughter of the man you kicked out of the partnership 5 years ago and took his entire company from." Michael's legs began to tremble. He slowly began to remember. Andrew Carnell. Yes, he had a small but promising technology startup. Michael was in an expansion phase at that time and wanted to acquire Andrew's company. Linda. "At that time? What about that time, Michael?" Linda's voice rose. "At that time, you made a partnership agreement with my father. You made him trust you. Then, you used legal loopholes to kick him out of the company. You took all his rights." Michael stepped back. "This was a business deal, Linda. It was in accordance with legal procedures." "Legal?" Linda laughed angrily. "You deceived my father. You gained his trust, and then you stabbed him in the back. He was your business partner and your friend." Michael tried to gather his thoughts. Andrew Carnell. Yes, now he remembered. He was an honest, naive man. He didn't know the ruthlessness of the business world. Michael had found it very easy to exploit his innocence. Linda, in those days, the business world had different rules. Different rules. Linda slammed her fist on the table. "You abused my father's trust. He looked at you as a friend." Michael's voice began to tremble. You were just ruthless, ambitious, and conscienceless." Linda pulled photos out of the file. "This is my father, Michael. Do you want to see what he became after his company was taken from him?" The photos showed an old, exhausted man who had suffered a mental breakdown. "My father fell into a depression after what you did. He was unemployed for months. No company would hire him because you also destroyed his reputation." Michael began to feel guilty as he looked at the photos. "Linda, I didn't know these things." "Didn't you know?" Linda gave a bitter smile. "Of course you didn't know. Only your own interests mattered to you." She pulled out other documents from the file. "My father fought for years to get your rights back. He tried to get back the rights stolen from you. But you were too powerful and too rich. He was just a man who had been deceived." As Michael looked at the documents, Linda continued. "Now it's your turn, Michael. This marriage, this 5-month process. It was all my plan." Michael looked at her in amazement. "Your plan?" Linda raised her head proudly. "Yes, Michael, I know you. I know your weaknesses, your arrogance, and your belief that money can solve everything. This marriage was the first stage of my plan to bring you down." "What do you mean?" Linda studied him. "Thomas suggesting this bet to you wasn't a coincidence. He's my man. I used him to lure you into this trap." Michael's world was collapsing. "Thomas? He's my friend." "No, Michael. He's someone I've been working with for a long time. I came up with the bet idea entirely on my own." Michael collapsed into the chair. "Why, Linda? Why are you doing all this?" Linda approached him. "Because you stole much more than my father. You stole his hope, his future, and his faith." Michael put his head in his hands. So what happens now? What do you want from me? Linda smiled, but it was cold and calculated. Now the real game begins, Michael. I'm not just Andrew Carnell's daughter. Michael raised his head. What else are you? Linda pulled a business card out of the file and handed it to him. I'm the owner of Carnell Media Group. I'm the CEO of one of Los Angeles's biggest media and law firms. Michael looked at the card and froze. Carnell Media Group. He knew this name very well. The company had caused many major scandals in recent years, bringing down powerful figures. This isn't possible, he murmured. It's very possible, Michael. After my father died, my mother and I were left with nothing. But I didn't give up. I worked for years, saving and investing. Now, I'm much more powerful than you. Michael's hand was trembling. So what do you want from me? Linda leaned on the table. I want justice. You're going to return what you stole from my father. Not just money, but honor too. How so? Linda pulled out more documents. During this marriage, I've been collecting evidence, Michael. I've been investigating all your past dirty dealings. I've found proof that you deceived not just my father, but others as well. Michael began to panic. This isn't legal, Linda. This is a trap. A trap. Linda burst out laughing. You trapped people for years. Now it's your turn. Linda pulled voice recordings from the file. By the way, all our conversations in the house are recorded. Your attempts to manipulate and pressure me. I have it all. Michael jumped up. This won't be accepted as evidence. It will, Michael. Because I'm a lawyer. I know very well what is and isn't evidence. Michael began pacing around the room. You planned for me for years. Yes, after my father died, you became my only target. I found you, researched you, and learned your weaknesses. And finally, you're in front of me. Michael turned to her. What about Thomas? How did he switch to your side? Linda smiled. Thomas has worked for my company for a long time. I told him you were his friend, and he agreed to talk to you. So, nothing was real? No, Michael. The pain you caused me was real. The pain my father suffered was too. Now it's your turn. Michael looked at her in horror. What exactly do you want from me, Linda? Linda stood up. First, you'll return all the assets you stole from my father's company. Second, you'll apologize to the public. Third. What's the third? Linda's eyes sparkled. Third, you're now under my control. You'll be however I want you to be. Michael looked at her in desperation. This is impossible, Linda. I can't accept this. Linda gathered the file. Then we'll see each other in court, Michael. I'll paint you in a very nice light in the media, too. Michael approached her in a panic. Wait, Linda. It doesn't have to be like this. Linda stopped. Then make your decision. Either you cooperate with me or you'll be disgraced in public. Michael's mind was confused. This woman had completely trapped him. Give me time, Linda. I need time to think. You have 3 days, Michael. I want your answer in 3 days. She left him alone on the balcony with her file. Once he was alone, the reality of the situation hit him hard. Linda Carnell wasn't just an innocent woman. She was a powerful businesswoman seeking revenge. Michael couldn't sleep at all that night. What Linda had said kept running through his mind. He tried to remember Andrew Carnell. Yes, he had been young and ambitious back then. To survive in the business world, one had to be ruthless. But maybe he had gone too far and ignored human values. The next morning, Linda appeared calm as always. It was as if the previous night's drama had never happened. Good morning, Michael, she said in her usual tone. Good morning, Linda. Would you like breakfast? Michael looked at her in amazement. You're acting as if nothing happened. Linda shrugged. What's done is done. Now, I'm just waiting for your decision. Linda, maybe we can talk. Maybe we can find a solution. Linda turned to him. Talk? If you had talked to my father 5 years ago, maybe we wouldn't be here today. Michael looked at her desperately. I was a different person back then, Linda. Are you a different person now? This question made Michael think. Had he really changed? Or was he still the same ruthless businessman? I don't know, he replied honestly. Linda smiled. At least it's an honest answer. That's a good start. Michael couldn't concentrate on anything at work that day. His employees were looking at him strangely. Would Linda really expose him in the media? When he returned home that evening, she wasn't there. He tried calling her, but her phone was off. She returned late at night. Where were you? Michael asked. Work-related meetings. What work? Linda looked at him meaningfully. Your work. Michael's blood froze. What do you mean? I met with my lawyers. The lawsuit file is ready. Michael was horrified. Linda, please be patient. I still have 2 days. Yes, you have 2 days. Use them well. Michael had another sleepless night that night. The next day, he didn't see Linda at all. She came home late and went straight to her room. The last day arrived. Michael had to make his decision. It was time to face Linda. By the third day, Michael still didn't know what he would tell Linda. He had thought all night, reviewed his past, and tried to remember the wrongs he had done. Andrew Carnell's face was clear in his mind now. He had ruthlessly deceived that honest, trustworthy man. Linda left early in the morning and didn't return until evening. While waiting for her arrival at the villa, Michael reflected on how far he had come. Just a few months ago, he was a man who thought he was the master of the world. Now, he was a toy in the hands of a woman seeking revenge. At 9 o'clock that evening, Linda returned home. She had her usual cold expression, but she looked more tired this time. Michael was waiting for her in the living room. Have you made your decision? Linda asked directly. Michael stood up. Linda, I need to talk to you in more detail first. There are still things I don't understand. Linda put down her bag. What didn't you understand? You. How did you build such a powerful company? How could you research me so well? You can't do these things alone. Linda sat in the armchair. You're wrong, Michael. You always underestimate women. But you're right, I wasn't alone. Michael waited, curious. So? Linda took a deep breath. For me to research you this much and set up this revenge plan, I needed a powerful motivation. Isn't losing Andrew powerful enough motivation? Linda's eyes began to tear up. Andrew was just the beginning, Michael. You took much more from us than just my father. Michael became uncomfortable. What do you mean? Linda stood up and walked toward the window. There's something I haven't told you yet. When my father died, it wasn't just me and my mother who were left behind. Michael's heart raced. Who else was there? Linda answered, fixing her eyes on him. My sister, Emma. She was 12 years old at the time. Michael was surprised. Your sister? You never mentioned her. Linda's voice began to tremble. Talking about Emma is very painful. Why? Where is she now? Linda went to the table and took a photo out of her bag. Emma is currently at a special care center in Los Angeles. She handed the photo to Michael. In the photo was a cheerful, laughing 12-year-old girl. As Michael looked at her, Linda continued. This photo is from before my father died. Emma was a very smart and talented child back then. Where is she now? Why is she in a care center? Linda took back the photo and said, After you kicked my father out of the company, Emma's life changed too, Michael. How so? Linda took a deep breath. After my father lost the company, he fell into a severe depression. Our household economy collapsed and all our savings melted away. Emma was very stressed by all this. Michael sensed something was wrong. What happened then? Emma started crying constantly. She stopped eating and couldn't sleep. We took her to the doctor, but... Linda's voice broke. The doctor said the trauma Emma experienced was severe. The collapse of the family structure, her father's depression, financial difficulties. All of it affected Emma. Michael's throat tightened. What? What happened to Emma? Linda couldn't hold back her tears. Emma suffered severe psychological trauma. She stopped talking and eating. The doctors said she had schizophrenic tendencies. Michael was shocked. This isn't possible. It's very possible, Michael. You didn't just destroy my father, you destroyed Emma too. Looking at the photo, Linda continued. Emma's condition got worse and worse. She started having hallucinations and harming herself. Finally, we had to admit her to a special care center. Michael's hands began to tremble. Linda, I didn't know about any of this. Of course you didn't know. You only cared about your own interests. Linda pulled other photos out of her bag. This is Emma's current state. The photo showed a 17-year-old girl in need of intensive care. Her eyes were empty and her expression was frozen. As Michael looked at the photo, Linda explained in a pain-filled voice, Emma doesn't talk anymore. She doesn't recognize anyone. She needs constant care. She's been living like this for years. Michael put his head in his hands. This is horrible, Linda. Really horrible. Yes, horrible. And it's all because of you. Linda gathered the photos. Emma's treatment costs are very high. We pay $15,000 a month. Special nurses, doctors, medications. Michael looked at her. How do you cover these expenses? Linda gave him a bitter smile. How do you think we cover them? My mother cleans houses and I work day and night. Our whole life revolves around Emma's treatment. Michael began to feel guilty. Linda, I really didn't know. You didn't know because you didn't care. After you kicked my father out of the company, you never looked back. Linda stood up. Would you like to visit Emma, Michael? Do you want to see with your own eyes what you caused? Michael answered, trembling. I'm not ready for this. Of course you're not ready. You don't want to face the truth. Linda took her bag and said, I'm going to visit Emma tomorrow. If you truly feel remorse, come with me. That night, Michael couldn't sleep at all. Emma's photos wouldn't leave his mind. How had he indirectly destroyed the life of an innocent 12-year-old? How could he carry this burden of guilt? The next morning, he found Linda in the kitchen. Linda, I'm going to see Emma. Linda was surprised. Are you sure? It will be very difficult. I'm sure. I have to see her. They went to the care center together. Although it was a modern building, the atmosphere was heavy. While Linda took care of the reception procedures, Michael examined the surroundings. There were many patients, all of whom seemed to be in serious condition. When they entered Emma's room, Michael's heart stopped. She looked much thinner than in the photo. She lay motionless in bed, staring at the ceiling with empty eyes. Linda approached her. Hello, Emma. I'm Linda, your sister. Emma showed no reaction. Linda held her hand. I brought a guest today. He wanted to see you. Michael approached. He noticed how thin Emma's hands were. There was no emotion on her face. Linda stroked Emma's hair. Emma was a very smart girl, Michael. She won first place in Math Olympiad. She wanted to be a painter. Michael's eyes teared up. Can she hear me? We don't know. The doctors can't say anything definitive. Michael approached Emma. Emma. I'm very sorry. Emma showed no reaction, but Michael continued. I hurt your father very much. And, indirectly, I hurt you too. I don't know how to make it up to you. When Linda saw that Michael was experiencing genuine emotion, she softened a bit. Emma's treatment is very expensive. There's a new method, but insurance doesn't cover it. How much does it cost? $30,000 a month. Michael answered without hesitation. I'll pay for it. Linda was surprised. What did you say? I'll take over Emma's treatment costs. Both the current treatment and the new one. Linda's eyes teared up. Michael, this is a very large amount. I don't care. I'm responsible for Emma's condition. That day, as Linda left the care center, her attitude changed. She began to look at Michael more kindly. Thank you, Michael. What you're doing for Emma is very important. This isn't enough, Linda. I owe you much more. When they returned to the villa, Linda had a normal conversation with Michael for the first time. How do you feel after seeing Emma? Michael took a deep breath. I feel terrible. I destroyed a child's life, and I wasn't even aware of it. Linda sat in the armchair. This is a painful truth. But now that you're aware, you can change. Can I really change? After doing such terrible things? Linda looked at him. Everyone can change, Michael. But it requires a lot of effort. From that day on, Michael's behavior changed completely. He began to treat Linda with respect. He gave her space and stopped forcing his wishes on her. He started making coffee for her in the mornings. He made sure to ask her before acting. Linda noticed this. Why are you behaving so differently? Because I'm trying to make up for the pain I caused you and your family. Linda was surprised. Really? Yes, I know I can never fully make up for it, but I can try to be a better person. Michael began paying for Emma's treatment costs. He also secretly started sending a monthly amount to Linda's mother. When Linda learned this, she asked, "Why are you sending money to my mother?" Because she's also a victim. She suffered too after losing Andrew. Linda could see that Michael was really starting to change. You're really becoming a different person. Maybe I was always different, but the blindness of power and money prevented me from seeing it. One evening, Linda told Michael something important. Michael, I've changed my mind about the lawsuit. Michael was surprised. What do you mean? I won't take you to court. But I have a condition. What is it? You'll return everything you stole from my father's company. You'll also apologize to the public. Michael accepted without hesitation. Okay, I'm ready to do these things. Linda smiled. There's one more condition. What's that? You'll also help other people you've harmed in the past. Michael nodded. I accept. I'll do it all. For viewers who have followed the story thus far, please write strawberry cake in the comments. Let's see how many of us there are. Also, dear viewers, in our next story, we'll cover how a woman's accidental warning to a millionaire changed his life. That story has some very dramatic events too. Don't forget to watch. Yes, where were we? That night, Linda and Michael talked for a long time. Michael talked about his past mistakes and questioned how he could have been so ruthless. Why did I become such a person, Linda? Maybe because no one showed you the truth. Since everyone praised you, you thought you were untouchable. So what will I do now? Linda looked at him. Now, you'll learn to be a real human being. Michael started visiting Emma regularly. Each time, he talked to her, read her books, and played music for her. Emma wasn't responding yet, but the doctors said these visits were having a positive effect. One day, while holding Emma's hand, Michael said, Emma, I know you might not be able to hear me, but I want to say this. I'm very sorry. I ruined your life and your family's. I'll never forgive myself for this, not ever. At that moment, Emma's fingers moved slightly. Michael was surprised. Linda, come here. Linda came running. What happened? Emma's finger moved. Linda looked at Emma. Emma? Can you hear me? Emma's eyes moved slightly. They called the doctor. After examining her, the doctor said, This is very promising. Emma is showing small signs of improvement. Linda started crying. Really? The new treatment might be working. These visits are good for her too. Michael was very happy that day. Maybe Emma could recover. Maybe he could make up for some of the bad things he had done. That evening, while talking with Linda, he asked, Linda, can you forgive me? Linda thought for a long time. Forgiveness isn't easy, Michael. We suffered a lot. I know. But I've really changed. Linda looked at him. Yes, I can see that. You're not the same person you used to be. So, does this mean something could change between us? Linda smiled. Maybe. Time will tell. Michael felt hopeful for the first time. Maybe he could change and win Linda's heart. But he would need to make a lot more effort. The 10th week marked the beginning of the biggest transformation period of Michael's life. After seeing Emma, the voice of his conscience wouldn't stop. He couldn't sleep at night. Every morning when he woke up, Emma's empty stare was the first thing that came to mind. The more he thought about how he had indirectly ruined this little girl's life, the more his heart broke. Linda's behavior was also starting to change. Michael's decision to cover Emma's treatment costs and his genuine remorse affected her. She wasn't treating him as coldly as before, but she was still keeping her distance. Michael woke up early that morning and found Linda preparing breakfast in the kitchen. Seeing her gave him peace because her presence motivated him to be a better person. "Good morning, Linda," he said softly. "Good morning, Michael. Your coffee is ready." As Michael sat down at the table, he announced that he had made an important decision. "Linda, I want to tell you something. I won't pay for Emma's treatment costs anymore." Linda looked at him curiously. "What do you mean?" "Today, I'm establishing a special department in my company called the Ethics Department. The Ethics Department. It will find all the people who have been wronged in the past and help them." Linda looked at him in astonishment. "Are you serious?" "Very serious. Andrew's story isn't the only one. I've victimized many people over the years. It's time to make up for it now." Linda put down her coffee. "This is a very big step, Michael. Are you really ready for this?" Michael answered determinedly. "I'm ready. Actually, this might be the most important decision of my life." When Michael went to his company that day, he immediately called the human resources manager. "Sarah, we need to establish a new department urgently." Sarah was surprised. "What kind of department?" "The Ethics and Social Responsibility Department. We'll put our best lawyers and social workers in charge of it." "What will this department do?" Michael took a deep breath. "We'll identify individuals our company has wronged in the past and compensate them. We'll also prioritize ethical values in every decision we make in the future." Sarah was shocked. "Michael, this is a radical change. What will the board of directors say?" "I'll talk to the board. I'm determined about this." That day, Michael called all his managers to a meeting. 30 people gathered in the conference room. "Friends, today we're opening a new page in our company's history," Michael said. "From now on, we'll be focused not just on profit, but on human values as well." The managers exchanged surprised looks. CFO Robert asked, "Michael, what does this mean exactly?" "We'll find everyone we've wronged in the past and compensate them. Also, we'll prioritize ethical values in all our future business decisions." Marketing manager Lisa asked worriedly, "Is this financially sustainable?" Michael answered firmly, "It must be sustainable. This company's fundamental values are changing." After the meeting, Michael formed a special research team. The team was tasked with finding others who had been wronged, similar to the Andrew Carnell case. When he returned home, he told Linda about the day's events. "Did you really establish the department?" "Yes, and they'll start working tomorrow." Linda smiled. "This is a really good step." "This is just the beginning, Linda. I'm determined to do much more." The next day, Michael went to visit Emma. He was now seeing her 3 times a week. When he entered her room, Nurse Jennifer greeted him. "Michael, I have good news. Emma is making small but important progress." Michael got excited. "What kind of developments?" "She's now responding to sounds. When we play music, she turns her head. This is very promising." Michael approached Emma and held her hand. "Hello, Emma. I came again." Emma's fingers moved slightly. Michael felt warm inside every time he saw these small reactions. "Emma, I have good news for you today. I set up a special fund for you. It will be used not only for your treatment, but also for other children like you." Michael started reading a book to Emma. He told her a different story each time he visited. The doctors said these activities were very effective in Emma's recovery. After the visit, They sat with Linda in the care center's cafeteria. "The change in Emma is really promising," Linda said. "Yes, maybe she can recover completely." Linda looked at him. "You've really changed, Michael. You weren't this compassionate before. Emma taught me what real values are. Money and power mean nothing compared to love and compassion." Linda's eyes filled with tears. "Hearing these words makes me very happy." That evening, when they returned to the villa, Michael made her a special offer. "Linda, I want to start a foundation with you." "What kind of foundation?" "One for children who have experienced trauma like Emma. It will provide support for their treatment and their families." Linda was surprised. "This is a great idea. But it's a big responsibility." "I'm ready for this responsibility. But I want to do it with you." Linda thought, "Okay. Let's build this foundation together." The next week, Michael's research team presented the first result. The report listed 15 people and families who had been victimized in the past due to Michael's business method. "Who's on this list?" Linda asked. Michael opened the file. "Here's Maria Gonzalez. I had her fired from her company because she wanted to expose confidential information, but she was just trying to protect public health." "What is she doing now?" "She's unemployed. No company will hire her because I blacklisted her." Linda was saddened. "This is terrible." "Yes, but now I'll find her and pay her compensation. I'll also offer her a good position in my company." Michael examined the other names on the list. "David Chen. I bought his startup but never made the payment. I exploited legal loopholes and never sent the money." "What's his situation now?" "He lost his house. He's living with his family in a small apartment." Michael was determined. "I'll find all of them and make things right." That week, Michael started meeting with them one by one. He made his first visit to Maria Gonzalez. When she saw him at the door, she was surprised. "Michael Harrison? What are you doing here?" "Maria, I need to talk to you. I came to apologize for the injustice I did to you in the past." Maria didn't want to let him in. "You ruined my life. What do you want now?" "I want to make amends. Both financially and morally." Maria looked at him suspiciously. "How will this happen?" Michael took his checkbook out of his bag. "First, I'll pay you $500,000 in compensation. Second, I'm offering you a suitable position in my company." Maria was shocked. "Is this real?" "Very real. Also, I'll make a public statement. I'll announce that you were right and I was wrong." Maria started crying. I can't believe this." "Believe it, Maria. I've changed, and I want to make up for my mistakes." His meeting with David Chen went similarly. When David saw him, he became very angry. "You stole my company." "I know, David. I'm very sorry for it. What good will remorse do for me? I went bankrupt." Michael tried to stay calm. "David, I'll pay you back the money I owe you, plus interest. $2 million total." David's anger turned to astonishment. "What did you say? $2 million? Also, if you want, I can help you start a new business." David shook his head. "Why are you doing this?" "Because I realized the wrong I did. I wrongfully victimized you." These meetings were tiring for Michael, but they also relieved him. Each time he made amends for an injustice, his conscience became a little cleaner. Linda was closely following this process. "How are these meetings affecting you?" "It's difficult but necessary. Every time I apologize, I feel better. Watching you undergo this transformation is very impressive." Michael turned to her. "Linda, I'm not just changing for you. I'm changing for myself too. I can't live like I used to anymore." By the 12th week, Michael had met with all the victims. He paid a total of $15 million in compensation. He also published a letter of public apology. The letter read as follows: "Dear public, for years I exhibited ruthless behavior in my business life. I victimized many innocent people. I wronged Andrew Carnell, Maria Gonzalez, David Chen, and many others. With this letter, I apologize for everything I did and promise to make amends. The letter received significant media attention. Some thought Michael was sincere, others were more skeptical. When Linda read the letter, she said, "This was a very brave step. It was necessary. I won't hide any more." That evening, Michael told Linda something important. "Linda, I have a confession to make." Linda waited, curious. "What is it?" "I fell in love with you." Linda was surprised. "Michael, I know. At first, this was just a game. But now, everything is different. You changed me. You made me a better person." Linda remained silent for a long time. "I also feel something for you, but what? Forgetting the past isn't easy." Michael approached her. "I'm not asking you to forget the past. I just want you to give the future a chance." Linda looked at him, indecision evident in her eyes. "I need time, Michael. This is a very big decision." In the 13th week, there was an important development with Emma. The doctor urgently called Michael and Linda. "Emma spoke for the first time today," he said. Linda started crying. "What did she say?" "She said, sister. When she called for you, she said, sister." They immediately ran to Emma's side. She was sitting in her bed with a sparkle in her eyes that they had never seen before. Linda approached her. "Emma? Do you recognize me?" Emma slowly nodded. "Sister." Linda hugged her. "Yes, Emma, I'm your sister, Linda." Emma looked at Michael and asked, "Who is he?" Linda answered with a smile. "He's our friend too. He helped you a lot." Emma smiled at Michael. His heart warmed at her smile. "Hello, Emma. I'm Michael." Everyone was happy about Emma's recovery. The doctors said a full recovery was possible. That night, Linda and Michael cried tears of joy. "Emma is recovering, Linda. She's really recovering." "Yes, it's a miracle." Michael held Linda's hand. "You played a big part in this miracle. You never gave up on Emma." Linda looked at him. "You helped a lot, too. Your contribution to Emma's recovery was significant." At that moment, the distance between them lessened. Linda could see that Michael had really changed. In the 14th week, he made significant changes to his company. The ethics department started operating at full capacity. Every business decision was now evaluated ethically first. The employees received this change very positively. "Michael, the company's atmosphere has changed a lot," Sarah said. "How has it changed?" "Everyone is happier at work now. Stress has decreased and motivation has increased." Michael was very happy to receive this feedback, "So we're on the right path." He continued to visit Emma and Linda regularly. Emma was recovering more each day. She could form short sentences and was trying to walk. One day, Emma asked him, "Michael, why do you always come?" Michael thought, "Because I love you very much, Emma. I want to help you." "Well, does my sister love you?" This question surprised Michael. "You need to ask her that, Emma." Emma turned to Linda and asked, "Sister, do you love Michael?" Linda blushed. "Emma, this is a very complex topic. But it's obvious from the way he looks at you. He loves you very much." These innocent words made Linda think. In the 15th week, she made an important decision. "Michael, I need to talk to you." "I'm listening." "I've decided to forgive you." Michael was shocked. "Really?" "Yes, you've really changed. The help you gave Emma and the compensation you paid to the other victims. It's all sincere." Michael's eyes filled with tears. "This is very important to me, Linda. There's one more thing. I fell in love with you too." Michael couldn't believe it. "What did you say?" "I love you, Michael. While watching you go through this process, I got to see your true character." Michael hugged her. "I love you very much too, Linda." They kissed for the first time. That kiss was the moment when everything changed for them both. In the 16th week, Michael proposed to Linda, saying, "Linda, will you marry me? This time, I want it to be a real marriage." Linda smiled. "Yes, Michael. I want to marry you." They started making wedding plans. This time, they decided on a modest but meaningful wedding. Before the wedding, they visited Emma. "Emma, we're getting married," Linda said. Emma clapped. "How beautiful! Will I come to the wedding too?" "Of course you will. You'll be our witness." The wedding day was very emotional. Emma attended the wedding in a wheelchair. She had been cheerful ever since she started talking. While Michael was making his vows, "Linda, you knew me at my worst and transformed me into my best self. I promise you endless love and respect." Linda responded, "Michael, I believe everyone deserves a second chance. You deserve this chance, and I will love you forever." A few months after the wedding, Linda became pregnant. "Michael, I have news for you." "What is it?" "I'm pregnant." Michael jumped with joy. "Really? This is wonderful." Linda smiled. "Yes, it's real. We'll be parents in a few months." The news made them both very happy. Michael had truly changed and was preparing to become a responsible father. Emma's condition was also improving. She had started walking and could speak normally. The doctors said she would make a full recovery. One day, Emma asked them, "Sister, am I better now?" Linda hugged her. "Yes, Emma, you're better now." "Well, can I go home now?" "Of course. You'll live with us." Michael added, "You're part of our family now, Emma." They were all very happy the day they brought Emma home. They had finally become a real family. Michael's foundation was also very successful. Hundreds of children started receiving help. Around the time of the baby's birth, Linda asked Michael, "What name should we give the baby?" "You decide. How about Emma if it's a girl and Andrew if it's a boy?" Michael's eyes filled with tears. "Perfect names. We'll honor both Emma and your father." The baby was born a boy and they named him Andrew. Little Andrew was healthy and beautiful. When Emma saw her brother, "He's so small. I'll take care of him." "Yes, Emma. You'll be a wonderful sister." Years later, Michael looked back and was amazed. The game that started with Linda had completely changed him. He was no longer a ruthless businessman but a loving father and responsible citizen. He told Linda, "You know, that bet was the best thing that ever happened to me." Linda smiled. "Why?" "Because it's the reason I met you. If it weren't for you, I would still be the old Michael. You changed my life too. Now, I believe in the power of love, not revenge." As little Andrew grew up, Emma recovered completely. She started university and wanted to become a painter. Michael's company continued to operate based on ethical values. It was now seen as a model company in the sector. Linda and Michael's love grew stronger every day. The foundation they established together continued to help thousands of children. One evening, Michael asked Linda, "Is there anything you regret?" Linda thought, "No, everything turned out perfectly." "You?" "Me too. Thanks to that bet, I found true love and discovered my true self." Emma joined them. "You're a very sweet couple." Linda hugged her. "You're our sweet sister too." Michael added, "We're a perfect family." And they really were. Their story, which started with pain and revenge, ended with love and forgiveness. Michael had made peace with his past mistakes, and Linda had transformed her anger into love. As little Andrew grew up, they told him about his father's past. He would learn about his father's mistakes and how he made amends for them. Emma was now completely healthy and progressing toward becoming the painter of her dreams. Michael's foundation continued to grow, and he had never done more meaningful work. Linda was now truly happy. The love she found while seeking revenge had made her whole. Finally, Michael said to Linda, "Thank you." "For what?" "For bringing me back to myself. Without you, I was a lost man." Linda kissed him. "You also taught me true love. Now we're both complete." Thus, the story that began with a pursuit of revenge ended happily with true love and forgiveness.